Hello and welcome back to another episode of Blair Bites. I'm your host, Blair, and here's our bite of the week. Y'all, I was just going through this court case that I'm about to discuss with you, all because my ex best friend, who we're going to name Willow moving forward, her name is Willow, all because Willow's bridesmaid. Willow couldn't explain to her bridesmaids who I am, how we found one another. It's very interesting because Willow was there during some of the downfalls of two different friendships. Mind you, this was COVID 2020. And it's just quite interesting because I met her as a friendship was ending. I literally met her and a friendship ended the next morning. We met each other at the beach miles away from where we lived in Charleston, South Carolina, and come to find out that we lived 1 mile away from one another back in Charleston. We were both Scorpios, and just it was very interesting. It was truly like an immediate connection. And I happened to be down at this beach because I was visiting one of my best friends from high school. And okay, I think the best way to go about this, because the story is going to get a little confusing if we don't name my ex besties, because believe it or not, this is not the only bestie that I've had a traumatic, tragic falling out with. And this is kind of what I want to talk to you about, these red flags that you need to see in friendships, and why having boundaries are extremely important, and why getting to know yourself and what you like, why that's also very important. I went to Charleston for university, okay? I was there for 5 years. I lived in Charleston for 6.5 years total. After I graduated college, which is in 2018, May of 2018, I moved to the border of South Carolina and Georgia. I was living in Hilton Head. From there, I moved back to Charleston in 2020 in the middle of COVID. Right when COVID hit, I moved to Charleston, South Carolina with my friend Luna. Okay, her name is Luna. My other friend is named Moana. Moana and Luna both lived in Charleston, South Carolina, and I met them working. So I met them working. They were my coworkers at one point, okay? And then my other bestie at the time were two high school besties that I have. One, our friendship had ended on my graduation night. That's a whole different story. We'll call her Delilah. Delilah and I were friends for 23 years of our lives before our friendship ended, okay? So we had known each other from the time we were 5, and really from the time we were 6 months old. We were baptized on the same day. Another high school bestie that I had was Peaches, and Peaches was a high school friend. I didn't know her until I was 16. Down to see Peaches at a beach. While I'm there, there's a mutual friend that I know of Moana's down by Peaches' place of work. And we decided to go out one night, meet Moana's mutual friend, and Willow happens to be there. My ex bestie. The one that we're talking about tonight. Willow's down at this random beach that I happen to meet through all these people, okay? And I mean, when I meet her, this is another time in my life where, in my honest opinion, it was an iconic time in my life. I was drinking a lot of Esplon and pickle juice at this time. I don't know. I was just a savage. Training, working out made me a savage. I meet all these people. Me and Willow have an iconic time. We hit it off. I actually lose Peaches to Moana's mutual friend, who was there with Willow at the time. Peaches and Moana's friend, we're not going to give her name, go back, and they do. The whole reason I stayed back with Willow at this bar, she was like, I've overdosed on that before. And I'm like, oh. Oh, have you? By the way, with the hottest soccer players, I'm never going to let this go. She's like, you're going to be trafficked. I was like, I wanted to be. No, sorry, dark humor, but like these guys were hot. Okay? These were hot Italian men. I was she fucked it all up. Okay. We kind of just like befriended one another, and she ended up taking care of me that night. I got so messed up that I messed up both my shoulders. Okay. Like I fell out of the Uber. Wild things happened to me. Okay. Wild things happened to me that night. And she was there with me, took care of me. We bonded, and that's a wrap. She left the very next morning, and I ended up leaving the next day because Peaches was off the very next day, and Peaches was mad at me because my avocado exploded on her uniform, and she had to go all the way back up to her house and then come back down, which was like a 2-hour trip in the morning. And there's just a bunch of traumatic things, and Peaches was not happy, and I was hungover. And Peaches wanted me to go out the next day, and I really couldn't. I was like, Peaches, I'm gonna die. And I was dying on the couch. I was.
Damn it. That's my green tea matcha, bro. All of it. Damn it. I love that shit.
It was a whole experience, okay? Things happened. We had a falling out. I packed my ish and I just left. That's a whole different story. We'll get into that a different day. There's so much drama that I'm always just fucking in because I can't just tell people, hey, fuck off. But that person I really did. Tell her to fuck off because she was so crazy over this one dude. She made me call him. Peaches made me call him, and I was just sick of that shit, okay? Like, she legit made me call this man. I've been in shitty situations with some of these men and that I don't give a fuck about because my friends asked me to call them, and I don't give a fuck, but I'm like, okay, I'll do it for you. Don't do it for them. Tell them to fuck off. Tell them that they're telling you that they don't like you, period, okay? Deal with it. Move the fuck on or you're a fucking weirdo, period. Peaches and I's friendship, and I go back to Charleston where I live with my friend Luna. Like I said, Willow ended up living, I'm not even kidding, maybe a mile away from my house in Charleston, and we ended up befriending one another, having fun. It's COVID, so I was working out and rideshare driving whenever, but I happened to be going out with Willow at least twice a week. When I come back from that trip, Luna had my, how do I put this, sex toy, my dildo. I know, I don't really, had my dildo in her room beside her bed, and I was like, because I would leave it in my room, in my dresser, or either beside my bed on my table. Yeah, I know, whatever. TMI, but that's a whole different story, okay? That's a whole different story, what happened with that. And we got into a fight. I ended up having to move out of her place, and Willow was there doing all of this. So Willow and I's friendship goes deep, okay? And that ex-friendship and the friendships that ended, she was there through all of that, and we really bonded. I met her family. She worked at the bar right down the road that was 2 miles down the road, bonding through all of these experiences, and I absolutely love this girl. And then her and her friend that she went down to the beach that I met her through, Moana's bestie, their friendship had some turmoil, things went down, they ended up not being friends, yada yada yada. I'm not even gonna lie to you, I'm in this situation because I did not have boundaries. I did not have boundaries. Boundaries will save you a lot of shitty friendships, okay? It'll save you a lot of shitty experiences in general. However, I was sick during all of this. From 2020, I had always been sick. I mean, you guys have seen the story. It's on my YouTube. I've fought for my life since then. So, all of this was just an experience, and that's why I guess I'm taking this so personal when it comes to Willow, because why couldn't Willow and her little friends just leave me the fuck alone? You beat me. What else do you want from me? You don't get to take my experience and my right to tell my story away from me. You know what I mean? I waited until after the court cases were dropped because I knew that there was no way, there was no evidence that these people were going to, because if you put them on the stand, I can guarantee you they could not lie. They knew exactly what they did that night. They knew exactly what I said to my best friend. There was absolutely no reason to choke me out because I called Willow a fucking loser for hiding behind the chair, bro. I was peacefully packing and trying to leave. I did not cause a scene. I was like, I'm leaving. I'm leaving. And I just was quiet and I packed all of my stuff. All I needed was this camera that I'm filming on right now. And I was there quietly until they started yelling. Mind you, we'd already had the cops pulled up on us. If you haven't already watched this story, you have to go back the previous episode and you have to watch it to know what the hell I'm talking about. Talk to her about my friend Luna, who I'm no longer friends with. I talked about how I'm so grateful that she was there throughout that process and how I know that she would never weaponize the law against me. We quite literally had that conversation before we got into my car and I drove her to Folly Beach. I was honestly shocked to find out from the officer that Willow said that I verbally assaulted her. When he told me because of that and I was not able to press charges against them, the feeling was betrayal. And I don't fuck with that. And I used to be silent about it. It's interesting because Willow's been there through some of the worst times with quite literally, some of the worst times of my life. Willow was there for it, and she just tried to make my life worse. And I was just going to leave it at the wedding speech until her bridesmaid decided to comment on my video, not DM me, just comment. Willow, if you're watching this, hi, you're still a big fucking loser. That's not verbal assault just because you don't like it and you feel attacked, because you are a big fucking loser. I was actually a friend to you. It's kind of crazy because my spirit knew not to talk to you for all those years that you were with your now husband. And I felt like she was playing dumb because obviously she's spoken to Willow. This girl that publicly commented on the wedding speech to Willow was not there when I got jumped. Okay? And she said this thought on a Saturday night at 2200. That's 10 p.m. for people who don't know military time.
So why were you going to participate in the wedding? Actually curious. Before being removed, I just want to know from this video, why would you participate in her wedding? If you secretly judged the whole time, how does that you make any better in some way? No hate. I'm genuinely curious.
When people are assuming that I'm trying to be better than them when I'm really just trying to talk shit to them, I don't know. It's kind of like, what are you doing? I'd like you guys to know that online, I am consistently going to bully bullies. I'm going to, I don't know if you can tell or not. I quite literally put my thoughts out in the open in comment sections. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter if it's political. It doesn't even matter if it's a cat video. If I'd like it, I'm in the comment section saying something, trolling, saying something witty, funny in my honest opinion, stupid, immature. Just I'm really practicing my assholiness, I guess. I don't really know what to tell you. It's called peaceful trolling. I'm practicing my trolling. I'm trolling. That's what I'm doing. Whatever, loser. So I responded to her by saying, I bet you are curious, considering she's a pathological liar. And I'm not joking, bruh. We need to sound the alarm on that mother. Oh my god, I scarred the fuck out of my foot. We need to sound the alarm on this bitch. She is a pathological liar. And I know this because I spoke to acquaintances of hers. I know her family, okay? But also acquaintances, ex-coworkers, the whole shebang. And I pretty much went into, I was like, not to mention she has blamed her sister for being the mean liar her entire life. And I'm telling you, like, I'm ready to bust open on this bitch. You better run back to Willow and tell her everything that I fucking said. She's probably already looking at it. I quite literally unblocked them so they could see what I'm posting. I don't care. Fuck you for lying on my name to the cops and making me have anxiety. I said my judgment was absolutely not secret. I even told her husband before he proposed to watch his back around me when he was showing me a new car. And I told her that she should not marry him. I told her mom that she should not marry him. I told her sister. I told her dad. I told her 3 times. I even told her the night because I told her around 12 a.m. Told the only thing to do was to try my best to support her. So that's what I did. If her mom wasn't going to pay for my bridesmaid's dress, I generally would not have been in the wedding. I told her that too. That was her sell to me. I have a boundary problem. I discuss it in person and online quite frequently. I definitely regret not having a boundary with her by ending our friendship the moment she fell in love with a rapist boy who raped a girl named Blair. Boom. That was my red flag. Right there. I never said I was better than her. I am, however, more kind, subjectively, less two faced, more secure in who I am, and way funnier than her, though. Like, way funnier. Hope that clears things up for you. To answer any and all further questions as well. This is my direct text to her. Next one, she says, I get what you're saying, but quote unquote, way funnier just negates everything to me and proves your insecurities and immaturity. You could have left your point where you made it instead of doing that. Kind of childish. I don't know. She did like the little emoji. Reply back trolling. I'm trolling you in the last comment. And honestly, this is me not being hyped up about it because I don't want to get pissed off again. When I get pissed off like that, it just ruins my entire night. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to ruin my entire night tonight. I have to work. I said, just means you're stupid and have a horrible sense of humor, TBH. And I meant that. I don't want any of them talking to me. I don't think that any of these girls should be reaching out to me considering that they beat my ass, okay? I don't think that that's appropriate, especially because of our age. You know, whoop my ass and go the fuck away. She said, great response. Really proves your point, girl. It's fun watching this consume you. There isn't a single person in the world waiting for you to drop your next video. By the way, her wedding was so much fun. On back to her. I said, you wanted a mature response and I wanted a laugh. Only one of us got what we wanted. She says, period, girl. Live in anger and jealousy consuming you forever since you obviously have nothing else but strangers online to validate you. I said, period. I'm just glad I'm not saggy tits, big bitch, or Chris Tarpey rapist lover. On no meds, drink only to celebrate, bills paid, not fat, pretty teeth, no receding hairline, not searching and commenting on any friends of ex-friends' profiles for a depressive, pathological liar. Thank you for this engagement. It genuinely helps the algorithm. And just because she commented on my video and that just pissed me off because why not just ask Willow? Why not just get the truth from Willow? Is it because she really did lie and you're genuinely curious? Because she's a liar. That could happen. Or are you just stupid? It feels like you guys are just dumb at this point. I definitely should have boundaries. I should have ended my friendship the moment that I met Chris Tarpey, the convicted rapist that Willow had some weird attachment to at the end of 2020 into the 2021 and still to this day communicates with his mom. Chris Tarpey, Willow, myself, and my boyfriend at the time. It's been my only adult boyfriend that I've ever had. I was living with him after Luna and I got into that fight. I moved in with him immediately. I met him within a week and a half. We were living together. That was crazy. Chris Tarpey apparently lived in Jackson, Wyoming, or something like that. And Willow, she met him through a friend of a friend. And mind you, all of these friends drink at the bar that she works at. Coming from food and beverage, I can tell you that these are some of the worst situations that you put yourself in to drinking with the people that come to your bar. Just don't. Meets this guy, they drink together a few times. I don't know the full story. I'll never know the full story of if she actually genuinely liked him or she genuinely felt bad for him. But he came all the way over here from Wyoming within a couple of days of him apparently raping this girl. Ironically, her name was Blair. I find all this out maybe after hanging out with him and Willow 3 months into it, 3 to 4 months into it. And it's shocking because, you know, you would expect your friend to kind of just like talk about it for a little while and then she doesn't hang out with him or talk to him 24/7. But she did. And he left and she continued to obsess over it while she was trying to have another relationship. There's a lot of alcohol involved in it. This is when I started to get really sick. And I'm thinking, you know, we've got to move on from this situation, right? Friend that's a paralegal, and we're listening into the court case. It's on a weekday, 2021, and we're listening to it. And his lawyers were horrible. Whoever he hired, they were just absolutely horrible. They had no comeback. The story goes is they went out drinking something. They came home and he was trying to drink more, and he was following her to her room, and she did not want to go to her room, or she didn't want him to follow her to her room. And then I think she said that he could like sleep beside of her but don't touch her, and then she woke up. That's why now he's a convicted rapist. So listening in onto that on this court case, I can just tell you from a human perspective, you could listen to it. Everyone has different thoughts and opinions. Me and my friend, as we're listening, that's not Willow. Willow was obviously listening on this. I mean, I'm telling you, she was obsessed with this man. She became obsessed with, like, do I like him? Do I not like him? I don't know. It was like a what if situation before she knew that he was a rapist. And then when she found out, she just did not react the way a normal human being would kind of react to that, in my honest opinion. And that's very dangerous. And Willow had told me that she had abusive relationships before this, cheating relationships. And now that I know that she's a pathological liar, I'm thinking, well, what did you do while you were drinking on pills? I think that she was abused regardless, but like I can't tell you that she's a perfect human being. We're just gonna give you a little conviction, a little snippet from the conviction here. Like I said, my friend and I listened to this court case, and we could tell you, first of all, his counsel was horrible, and they had no evidence that he didn't do this. In fact, they had more evidence that he absolutely did do that, especially because there was a witness the morning after, and they did the right thing. So, after a 5-day trial, this is directly from his case, okay? After a 5-day trial, a jury found Mr. Tarpey guilty of first-degree sexual assault. The district court sentenced Mr. Tarpey to serve 10 to 15 years in prison. Mr. Tarpey then obtained new counsel, who appealed the conviction to the Wyoming Supreme Court, part of which included filing a motion for new trial, arguing that Mr. Tarpey had received ineffective assistance of counsel as required by Wyoming rules of appellate procedure. In his brief to the Wyoming Supreme Court, Mr. Tarpey argued that this Sixth Amendment right to a public trial had been violated. I'm assuming because of COVID, because it wasn't public. However, I was a public and I listened in on it. I think it was a fair trial. She was very convincing. Okay, her story sounded kind of like mine when I got my ass beat. You know what I mean? You just don't get to censor people's speech and think that people are going to believe you at the end of the day. Yep, so that's what I went through. And I mean, she's one of these people who obsesses over someone until she finds someone else to get over them. But truly, she drank a lot. I'm not sure if she still drinks a lot. I'm assuming so, since her friend's messaging me on a Saturday night at 10 p.m. Why would you do that 2 weeks after the wedding when I saw this bridesmaid look at my story on December 21st? So she knew that I posted this then. Why not comment this? Why not comment this then? Why did you do it last Saturday at 10 p.m.? There's only a few reasons that you would do that. You obviously wanted to poke me. Isn't getting my ass beat enough? Like, what else do you want? I'm not going to shut the fuck up. Do I look like someone who's going to shut the fuck up? No. I'm just going to learn how to fight now. 2, you're stupid. I don't know you. I don't know. I mean, I'm going to really stand firm in my belief that Willow is stupid. She's probably fried her brain one too many times with the alcohol. Or 3, Willow and the girl that commented, Willow and that bridesmaid were together drinking, and Willow's like, I don't know why this would have happened, like why she would say that or be a part, and she genuinely was curious and she had her ass for her. But again, seems weird to comment after you've already seen the story when it was posted. Why not just comment then? Why did it take you 2 weeks to grow the balls to say something? you know? So obviously, I just wanted to kind of put this out here that I am absolutely immature. You don't offend me by calling me mature, my dude. It's just, what? Like, you got the wrong idea, especially online. Listen, I got a few things that are mature on me. It ain't my personality. I don't know what to tell you, my guy. But the jealousy part, I don't think so. I don't think that I'm jealous of Willow's choice in men. Not a single one. I am proud of pretty much every single ex-boyfriend that I have. Now, have I like been disappointed and obviously the relationship failed and they're not someone that I would date or marry? Yeah, absolutely. But I'm saying they weren't the worst guys in the world, the ones that I dated. I wasn't doing hardcore drugs with my ex-boyfriends. Going through all this situation and the twists and turns, obviously you can imagine how I felt on the inside going through these highs and these lows with people who have been my friends for a very long time. And like I said earlier, she's not the only friendship that has ended tragically. And it really hurts because I am someone who wants to forgive pretty quickly, but I'm also someone, like I said, who doesn't have boundaries, who has honestly stayed friends with people that I should not have been friends with. I knew that I should not be friends with these random peoples, but I was. And I should have just said no, and I really should have just stayed at home. Thankfully, I didn't go out as much as some people, but still, it was enough to fuck up my life. I'm editing the podcast right now, and I wanted to add, do not drink on pills. I don't care who you are. Stop drinking on pills. Stop doing cocaine. It makes you fucking insane. It needs to end. It needs to end. There's a zombie apocalypse out there with cocaine and with pills and with the food that you eat and the alcohol that you consume. And you're saying no to the right things when your intuition tells you no will save you so much trouble. Obviously, when you're friends with the wrong people, they're going to get the law involved. They're going to stress you out to the point where, I mean, I was having PTSD moments from those girls kicking me. And sometimes when I tell the story, I still kind of flinch up. Like, I use my legs to kick them off of me. Fuck Willow for lying to the cops. Seriously. If you watch this, Willow, I would have never done that to you. Not in a million years. I genuinely hope that you leave me the fuck alone. I don't want to tell another fucking story about you. I don't want to mention your name. I don't want to think about you. I'm not going to look up your name. I don't give a fuck about you. Hopefully my ex-bestie takes a hint. We should probably talk about Luna and why she used my sex toy. Maybe it'll make sense why I'm extra mad at Willow. Thank you guys for being interested in this story. Don't fuck with me. You don't have to be scared that I'm going to talk shit about you unless you've quite literally put your hands on me, lied to the law about me, or just been a piece of shit. There's absolutely no reason to fear me unless you have been one of those things. Or if you're a pedophile, you're definitely not safe here. But besides that, I'm unsure what makes you think you're so special to make the podcast. Willow actually was special enough to make the podcast. She was actually going to be painted in a whole different light, a beautiful light, before she lied on my name to the cops and I was rolled out on a stretcher to get a CAT scan at the hospital, while simultaneously lying to my parents that I was in jail even though I was in direct communication with them. Thankfully, the truth always prevails, doesn't it? Over and out.